And we are live.
I got
welcome to the water cooler. I'm hosting today. I don't know what episode this is. I don't know what we're talking about.
This episode your face.
122.
Episode's your mom's face. Anyway, I am Steve Zehngut, and we're going to go around the room, starting with Chris, and let everybody introduce themselves. Chris Lema.
Hi there. I am Chris Lema. I'm the CTO and Chief Strategist at Crowd Favorite. I run the North County Meetup in San Diego, and you can find me on Twitter at Chris Lema.
Chris number 2.
I'm Chris Wiegman. I'm a developer at iThemes, working on iThemes security. I was a previous organizer of WordPress Austin, and I'm now a Floridian, so there's not as much going on down here.
George.
Hi, I'm George Stefanis. I'm the team lead for the Jetpack Pit crew at Automattic. When not doing that, I contribute to core, run a local meetup group, and we have WordCamp Lancaster, Pennsylvania coming up at the end of this month, so if you're in the area, drop on by.
Lancaster!
Jason.
Da-da-da.
Our noob for the day, Jason.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm Jason Lemieux. I'm the founder at Postmatic, and when I'm not doing that, I live in Vermont and tend sheep.
Somebody's buzzing.
That's me. I forgot I have so many devices that all ring at the same time.
He didn't silence his phone.
Shame. Speaking of devices, say.
What? Oh, hi. I'm Say Reed, and I am going to be really careful about how I phrase this, but I make. Well, no, that's yeah. I make WordPress stuff, okay, and teach about it. Yep, at Say Reed Media and all the things.
Do you make WordPress stuff with a capital P or with a lowercase p?
Oh, I make it with a capital P, baby.
Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Wefald. I'm the production manager at Zeek Interactive. I also host the design meetup night of the OC WordPress meetup group, which is the first Monday of the month, and I'm also the minister of propaganda for OC WordCamp.
You guys came up with good titles.
OC WordCamp?
What was that?
What are the dates?
OC WordCamp is June 6th and 7th.
Thank you. Suzette?
Hello, everybody. I'm Suzette Franck. I am a front-end developer designer over at WebDevStudios, and I love WordPress, and I have a lot of sites that I like to tinker with.
And I'm Steve Zehngut. I'm the founder of Zeek Interactive, and I run the OC WordPress Meetup. And welcome to the water cooler. Today's topic is, what WordPress comment system should I choose?
Well, that's a great question, Steve. I'm so glad you asked it in such an SEO-friendly manner.
I think the first question becomes, what is your strategic goal? Are you looking to interface more with... Are you trying to interface more with social media?
So I should concentrate on strategery?
I know, right?
Strategize your face.
Because sometimes it's a trade-off.
Yeah, folks, this is why Zeek hired Sarah instead of just leaving strategy to Steve.
Steve will ask a question. She'll ask the 5 questions beneath that question.
That's right.
Well, I know that, and I totes agree, Sarah's strategery is a very important component of this, because I think the first question is really, do you have comments? Or should you have comments, right? Isn't that what you're saying?
Well, there's that, but then there's also, are you trying to use your comments as a way to drive more traffic to your site by social media integrations, but then sometimes with that, like if you use Facebook comments, for example, Facebook then owns all your comments, you get rid of that comment tool, all your comments go away. So
I know a few comment tools.
But then if it's more important to you to have all of your comments live in your database, then there are other tools. So it kind of depends on what your end goal is. What's most important to you?
Also, you have questions like, what's your theme integration going to look like? If you're using an off-the-shelf theme, is your comment display going to look as that theme was meant to? Is it going to be fully responsive? Or is it going to be just like a drop-in, this is what our comments look like across every theme, like Discuss or Facebook would do when you're just dropping that in?
I think we are getting way ahead of ourselves.
All right.
We're asking questions. We're just asking questions.
No, and that is great, because you're awesome.
I think that the good question to start with is, what kind of site are you running, and what role do comments play on that site?
What kind of site is this anyway?
Pro blog or business site? What is it?
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly right. So if you know what kind of site you're building, you might have objectives, which is what I think Sarah was talking about. What's your goal? But often those goals are different depending on what kind of site you're running. If you're running a site where you're producing the content and you're producing your voice, like a review site, you may end up being in a place where you don't want a lot of other comments, and you may turn them off. If you're writing a journal where you don't want other comments, you may turn them off and not even use comments. On the flip side, you may want a lot of audience engagement from what you're writing, and so you may want comments, and then you have a lot of different options as to systems. Does someone want to crank out some of the top options for comments?
So some of the main options, I mean, there's two main ways it'll do. One is it'll be a complete drop-in replacement for your commenting system, and that's things like Discuss, Intense Debate, Livefire, Facebook. It could be something that's just a front end to your comment form, and then it feeds everything in directly through WordPress, and that'll be things like your stock WordPress comment form, Jetpack. I believe some of the others can regularly import comments back into Facebook, but that's a little bit messier, and it can need a little bit more server resources as you're doing that.
What are the words that people hear a lot, right? When comment systems.
Discuss.
So we already heard discuss, right?
I say
Let's slow down for a second.
Say them all at the same time. That's fine.
Your mom, your face.
Let's
Wait,
discuss. D-I-S-Q-U-S. Discuss.
Discus.
Yeah.
I would like to point out, though, because we went right into the commenting system, I just want to take that second to say there are, and Chris, you were touching on this, there are a lot of instances in which you probably wouldn't want to have comments. For example, with my small business clients, I counsel them to, off the bat, not use comments at all because it does take a lot of management. So if you're going to use a commenting system at all or have comments on your posts, your blog, whatever it is, you have to be prepared to actually do some interaction with that. Otherwise, you're going to get crazy spam, and it's just going to be like this empty hole.
Yeah, I think that's an important consideration. Whenever you're integrating any sort of social anything into your site, it's not a set it and forget it sort of deal.
Yes, exactly, and you have to basically commit to that, because nothing looks worse than just empty comments, or especially if someone has commented and asked you a question and then you don't reply or you never approve it, then you're actually damaging your interaction with your potential readers or whatever they are right off the bat. So it's important to examine that first, and then once you've decided that you're ready to go into that.
Let's assume you're watching the show because we're asking which one should you use. So we're only talking about the case where you're going to use one, and the first one we've highlighted is Discuss, which is spelled differently than you'd imagine. We'll have it in the show notes, but there are others other than Discuss, right? So someone want to give us another one?
Jetpack's probably the biggest alternative it seems like going on right now.
Yeah, Jetpack is another one you can get for sites, and many servers already have it pre-installed.
What's the commenting module called?
Comments.
Jetpack comments.
That's mysterious.
Yeah, that's really.
What's another one?
Facebook.
Facebook comments.
Yeah.
I think the point here that Sarah made,
Suzette mentioned Livefire.
I think that
Livefire is also spelled a little different. It does not have
L-I-V-E-F-Y-E-R
F-Y-R-E. So we'll put that one in the show notes too. Livefire.
Intense Debate.
Jason, is there another one?
There's another one. Well, and then there's the sort of old-timey traditional approach of putting together using native commenting and supplementing it with interesting plugins, which has the benefits of privacy and ownership and all that stuff. And so what we're working on is a native comments plugin called Postmatic. And what that does is it does a lot of what Jetpack does with comment subscriptions. If you can leave a comment and you can subscribe to subsequent comments, except they come to your email and then you can reply to those comments over email. So all of the commenting can happen right from your inbox, including inline commenting and approving and marking spam and trashing and full comment moderation and participation in the inbox. That's what we're working on.
Do you think that that's more useful because people don't want to take, because then it's instantaneous as it happens real time, as opposed to having to log into the site and deal with them then?
Of course, yeah, it's super easy. You're in your inbox and somebody replies to you and you just reply to them and you don't have to visit the site and hit the form and or log in or anything like that. So it's we're finding it's really convenient for commenting. It's super convenient for site authors and owners.
How does it handle an attachment?
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
wait,
okay.
Wait.
Sorry, go ahead.
Before we come back and make this a show about Postmatic,
yeah.
There's another one out there, and I think I think someone had it. It's something like relaxed discussion.
Intense debate.
Oh, that's what it is.
Thanks, Chris.
That's actually what Chris considers an intense debate is a relaxed discussion. So that's not actually that far off.
That's why they get confused in my head.
Yeah, you're like relaxed discussion, intense debate, same.
That's why Chris gets the big buck.
Yeah, and so something else really interesting that I've seen pop up lately is this idea of using native comments but solving the problem that Jetpack and Discuss solve, in that a lot of free themes or even commercial themes have junky commenting templates and commenting forms. And so people go and they install Jetpack or they install Discuss because it gives you an awesome looking commenting template. And so I've started to see a couple of third-party plugins pop up as well. This one that launched just in 2.0 this week is called WPDiscuz, D-I-S-C-U-Z, which totally replaces the comments template on your active theme with a completely Ajaxed out, really nice responsive comments template.
Nice.
So we worked over the weekend actually to make Postmatic talk to Discuz, and now and we've got some demo sites running of like fully Ajaxed out email commenting.
Gotta say,
regardless
fully
of
pretty much the worst name ever. I'm not okay with
Especially
Discuss.
when you've got the confusion with Discuss.
I know.
Yeah.
It also sounds disgusting.
Let's pause for a second and say to any plugin developers that are watching the show, if you're thinking of naming your plugin in a way that people can't predictably type it in and find it, hire some help. And they will help you find a good name.
Or if the word scuzz is in it.
Scuzz, yeah, dis and scuzz. And
scuzz is not in it. It's cuz. What's up, cuz?
It's scuzz. Yeah, actually, the whole book by cover thing.
You're dissing your cousin?
I might think twice before, in my various talks that I give, being like, yeah, you guys should all go download WPDiscuz. Like, what? I'm saying that? I don't think so. I'm going to be like, Postmatic is what I'm going to say.
Oh, thanks.
So there's a technical
Not
benefit.
as a function, just
there's a technical benefit when you use a comment system like Discuss, not WPDiscuz, but Discuss. And that is that you're offloading that database load onto somebody else's system, right? So you're not
offloading.
So your page caching can be a lot more efficient. It's not going to need to flush itself every time a new comment comes in because those are all loaded in via JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On top of
which systems do that?
Livefire does it.
Intense Debate does that. Discuss does that. Facebook comments would do that as well. If you got largely loading in via an iframe.
I think that's really important, though. The point, Sarah, that you made right at the beginning is really totally worth bringing up. A lot of people want to opt into the Facebook commenting system because they're like, people already have Facebook, and then it shows up on my Facebook. But that point you made, Sarah, about then that property your comments is now on Facebook and not on your site. You can't carry over to a new system. There's no import and export. So I think that's a really important point and a major negative toward using Facebook comments.
Well, and it's only a negative if you want to hang on to, if you want to have ownership of the comments made on your site.
Yes. Now, one of the other really big benefits that the commenting forums can grant folks is identity portability. So when you're going between 8 different websites, you don't need to manually enter your credentials on each site. So you don't need to say, my name is Big Bird, my email is bigbird@Sesame Street. And on each one, it can just know that you are Big Bird, and when you're applying to Oscar the Grouch, that's right there, and that's cookied on their servers, and it just pulls straight across.
I see what you did there. Big Bird cookie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
I'll cookie your server.
That's awesome. The ability. I don't know how we get off Sesame Street. So the The big deal, right, is that when you use externalized commenting systems, your page caching, your performance, and everything else can speed up, which is awesome until you find out potentially that putting that form on your site can also mean that the servers that are hosting that form are also tracking all of those customers, including Big Bird, when he comes to your website. When Big Bird comments on your site, Big Bird leaves a trail, and that site can suddenly say, now I know what Big Bird's doing over at chrislema.com. And if Big Bird is going to all of the rest of your sites, right, then Big Bird's leaving a trail everywhere. And if they're using Discuss everywhere, then what's happening is Discuss is holding an entire profile of Big Bird because Big Bird...
I now know what I'm going to name my plugin.
That's
Big
right.
Bird? WP Big Bird.
That's right.
No, but what Chris is saying,
There's a big trail of birdseed behind you right now.
And so I was using Discuss, right, and then I started reading. You know, the CEO was boasting that we have the biggest profiles of people on the internet. We know where they've been and what they're doing and everything. And I'm like, okay, I don't want Discuss on my site anymore, right? Because
was that because you didn't want people profiling you, or because you didn't want people profiling your commenters?
I didn't want people profiling my commenters. And I got some slack because people were saying, well, Facebook does the same and Twitter does the same, but I don't have that little Facebook friend drop-in that sits on my site, right? I took a lot of those...
Lead-in?
Huh?
Do you use lead-in?
I don't.
Oh.
So I don't have a lot of...
Good to know.
Now we're going to ask random things on what's hosted on chrislema.com. Well,
it was more about tracking, because with lead-in you can track, if someone does a comment or fills out a form, you track them everywhere.
But hold on.
There's
a huge difference.
And such others.
There's a huge difference because if I was using lead-in, I could track them, but I can only track the people coming to my site. Discuss is tracking everyone going to everyone's site that's using it, right? Which is a centralized profile creation, which is what Facebook can do as well, right? And it's a different ball game than what's happening when I'm using something like lead-in on my own local site, right?
What about George? What about Jetpack as far as retaining user data?
What about Jetpack?
I've always wondered.
Really don't depart from what's actually built into it. With the Jetpack ones, basically, if you log into your WordPress.com account, it then pre-populates your information across any site you try to use the Jetpack comment form on. And apart from knowing that, okay, this user has left comments on these, and then we can use the little notifications menu to give you a heads up when someone replies to you, we really don't do any individualized tracking or building profiles of users. We've just never really wanted to be that much of a big brother to all the people running around and using our service.
Can you imagine some of those Discuss profiles? Discuss, sorry, I just always say it that way. Some of those profiles are probably pretty crazy because people get crazy in those comments.
Yeah, and the truth is it's not just when they comment, right? In those systems, in the same way, Jetpack has the ability to do it. I'm not debating that Jetpack doesn't have the ability. It's not, at least according to what they've disclosed, they're not doing it. And according to what Discuss has disclosed, they are. So this is all just public disclosure. But at the end of the day, if you log into a site, or if you hit a site, and that site's tracking you, even if you don't put a comment, they still can track that you're there and what you've done, right? So all the sites that are using Discuss are essentially feeding that data back to the mothership, right? And creating those big profiles. If George started doing that with Jetpack, I would want him to shave his beard and just go with a goatee, because that would be a little bit evil.
I would be really needing to.
Is there like goatee month? Like there's the Mo month, and there's like goatee month. I think you should all grow goatees. Oh wait, most of you have them. Let's see.
I
have a goatee plus. It's like the iPhone 6
I want to
Plus.
see Chris with a goatee. Sorry, I know that's super off topic, but oh wait, you have one. I don't know what I'm talking about. Now looking really close at Chris's face, I think you have something right there.
Yeah. So when you're looking at hosted comment systems, the thing to be aware of is whether or not they're doing more than you're asking them to do. If they're there to just help you with comments, great. If they're there to do something else and their CEO is boasting about it, then you ought to think twice about what you're doing.
And sometimes that is a worthwhile trade-off for you to make, because if that can like if the fact that Discuss is cooking the users and tracking what other sites they've been to, that can give you very useful information about your visitors. Like, my visitors have gone to these other sites in addition to mine. Those are the sort of audience that I'm bringing in.
Do you get that data?
Just for the sake of honesty, I don't know if they give it to you or not. I don't know if they're just hoarding it or if they're actually giving it out. But but for the sake of honesty, you really should make sure that's included in your site's privacy policy to make it clear to your users that that information is being collected and that you could actually leverage that, whether that's for their benefit or not.
Hashtag privacy on that one. That is truth. Right there. That is truth.
Hashtag Chris, hashtag winning, hashtag.
And to be clear, say, what I've understood from Discuss is that they're not doing it so that the site owner gets the data back. They're doing it so that the advertisers that they sell to get fine-tuned profiles on where to sell those ads, which is all about hashtag making money. But that's not for your site, right? You're not getting a check.
And that's sad.
I'm not making any money, no.
That's the whole point, is the whole related post thing now with a lot of it too. I mean, that's so much of the commenting system seem to be leading into the related posts more than they are comments.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, a lot of the related post systems are built off. This isn't a related post that's the most relevant to the stuff you're using. This is a related post because this is the folks that are willing to pay us to cross-link you over to them. I would love to see some great cross-blog related posts that folks can set up like across their own sites. One thing I'll eventually see in Jetpack is like if you have 20 different sites, say these 8 of my sites show related posts from each other back and forth.
It'll be
That'd
like
great.
It'll be like the rings back in like the 90s when you had like your thing at the bottom and you're like, I'm in the, you know,
Oh, I remember.
girls who like cats ring. You know what I mean? Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh.
I'm too old. I'm too old.
Hashtag.
No, I mean, no, I've never heard of that. I'm not that old.
Hashtag. Yeah, like if you're in the water slide group and you want to find other water slides, it was like the original related post test thing. I don't know.
So let's talk for a second about.
I don't know.
One second.
Just for our audience. Just for our audience, 1 second. We said water slide. When you say water slide, you know what I think of? I think of Tony from Security, the CEO of Security.
Video.
I knew it was going to be water slide. You said the magic word.
You go look at Twitter at Chris Emma, and you will see yesterday a tweet where I posted a YouTube video of Tony, the CEO of Security, sliding down my water slide in my backyard. So
I saw that. It was awesome.
I have a question. Are comments open on that YouTube video? Because
yeah, they are.
Hashtag dangerous.
So,
hashtag
let's
water.
talk about the impacts.
Hashtag Big Bird.
Let's talk
here we
about
go,
the impacts that let's talk about the impacts that the different existing commenting systems that we've laid out can have on the types of conversations that you end up having on your site.
That sounds really productive. I don't know.
I know, but this is something we're playing with Postmatic, right? So what we've noticed is on sites that we're running beta, Postmatic beta on. We're not necessarily seeing like a huge rise in the number of comments, which we were sort of expecting. We were like, oh, it's going to be easier to comment, you'll get more comments. But we're not seeing that. What we're seeing, though, is like much longer, more thoughtful, more intentional commenting and like much better quality of conversation across the board, which is hard to monetize, you know, depending who you are. But we're seeing like an improvement in the kinds of conversations happening.
Well, it's a better way of building a community for your site and increasing user engagement. That's the way you make sure they keep coming back, and it's not they're here, they leave a comment, they never come back. By actually emailing them on responses, which Jetpack and WordPress itself can do to some extent, is a great way of making sure that they're engaged and they're invested in your community.
Right.
Well, that goes back to where Sarah started with the strategy that you're implying or that you're implementing in your site.
It's all circular.
Oh my God! It's like the whole
Time is
thing.
a flat circle.
Wait, time is a flat circle? Don't explode my brain on camera.
I forgot you don't watch TV. Okay.
Now all I can think about is flat circles.
Yeah. With Facebook comments, just as an example, like the impact that I've just noticed is that even though it's real, like your real name is associated with your comments, which I know that YouTube had originally implemented, trying to get rid of the massive trolling problem they had, forcing everyone to use their real names on comments. It doesn't seem to have any sort of civilizing effect. I feel like every time I go to somewhere with like Facebook comments, it's people posting the most racist ass garbage in the whole universe, and it's like their real names right there. And
they
post
stuff on Facebook too, like, so they're not. It's like there's no boundary there anymore.
I mean, they can always make a new account just for trolling, like, what's your name? Donkey Butt McFakerton. I mean,
or like Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
But too many comments on this M&M.
But I don't know. I feel like people don't quite understand the ramifications of using certain comment systems. Like, because Facebook will use your real name, and then the next line is where you work.
Yep.
Oh, that's an issue of privacy. That is a big concern for me.
I think that we're in a very
wait. It's a big concern for you because you work at WebDevStudios, or because it's private?
No, just in general. Just like online privacy, people oversharing
It's easier to stalk people that are being a jerk.
You should see the stuff Suzette writes. That's all I'm saying.
I know, Suzette's a monster.
Yeah. No, but as a whole, I think that that's actually, that's a societal problem, and that is definitely something that needs to be, that is changing constantly, the accountability of comments and whatnot. And I think as that grows, that's changing the market for the technology for commenting. Like I said at the beginning too, a lot of people don't even want comments because they don't want to even deal with, that negative stuff and whatnot. So,
but if you
I don't know. I really like the idea that with some commenting systems, you can enforce that you actually have your real name and your job listed. So we could say, like, hi, I'm Kobe Bryant, I play for the Lakers, and this is what I have to say, because being a jerk can come back and bite you in the rear end. And honestly,
I'm sorry, are you suggesting Kobe's going to be a jerk?
No, nobody would suggest something like that.
He's more of a fucker.
Don't mess with Lakers. All right, we're in a rebuilding decade.
It's a rebuilding phase. Yes.
Let's circle back. I think the thing that I really appreciate about Postmatic and about any other tools, including SCUS or whatever it was called, that are trying to make commenting easier, trying to make it so that people are writing it from email, trying to make it so that you still own it, like Jetpack, which puts it in your own database so you have it, is that what you want to do is there's several different options. What you want to make sure is that one of them the one you look at isn't doing something egregious to you, right? Isn't doing something that bothers you. So Discuss may be great for other people. For me, I was like, I will not use this, right? Facebook years ago, I looked at playing with Facebook, and again, it was, oh, I don't own my comments, Facebook does, right? And that may be a worthwhile trade-off for some people, and so they may have a different take than I do, but you got to land for yourself on what you care most about, right? And then that's going to have an impact on what you pick.
I'm actually, I'm pleased and touched to hear that, Chris, that you switched that because of that thing, that information.
I'm glad you were pleased and touched.
Pleased and touched. Steve, you know about that, right?
So Steve,
Hey.
I know you've been blogging more. I already saw more this year than I did last year. So,
What, one?
Yeah. Well played. What commenting system? What are you using on your site?
Internal WordPress comments for the
using
win.
native comments.
Yeah.
There is one super awesome plugin that I actually really like that I think is cool, and it's the Twitter comments plugin, and it basically just tracks the link of that particular post, and if anybody posts that link on Twitter, it adds it as a comment in your on your comments, and I think that's kind of cool because it's you can't always track out there who's talking about your stuff, but it's cool to know that if someone does link you randomly, even if they didn't share from your site, that it shows up. I think that's pretty cool.
Does it register as a comment or as a trackback?
Registers as a comment.
Interesting.
Well, trackbacks structurally really are just...
Postmatic is about to embed that into their thing, right?
No, I don't see that as being that
Let's
useful.
spend the next 30 seconds to explain what a trackback is. Seriously.
A heads up you get when someone else posts a link to one of your blogs. It shows up as kind of a commenty thing that says so-and-so linked to you with a post blah blah blah. And
It's like Tumblr. It's like Tumblr. So and so reblogged this. Nothing happens. It's not interesting, but you get noticed that it's
you get warm
Well,
fuzzies and you can feel special for it.
You're like, oh my god, people like my stuff. Yay!
Which that would be a more valuable, a valuable thing to know as a trackback, but it sort of would muddy up a comment stream, you know?
Oh, if you're a
On that
purist.
note,
stuff.
thank you to everybody that participated today. This was episode 122 or something like that. Click on all
Send
the
us your
links.
comments.
Click on
Yeah.
all the links all over the place. And thank you to everybody. So we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you. Mean it.
Everybody
Kiss,
say
kiss.
goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, biatches.
Yes.